All right. Well, if y'all are seeing this, hopefully I have not screwed this up. Hoping. Anyways, so I guess we're going to find out here real damn quick whether or not I am right or wrong. But anyways, this first episode of this is essentially a hangout, guys. And I want to see if this might end up being a thing, since we're going to be doing some things. Now that we got a bunch of stuff, we're going to be doing some things squared away and different. But, yeah. So jump in the chat. It's been a while, but this is one of several little get-together streams so that I can work bugs out of the new setup, the new place, that kind of thing. And yeah, it's been a long damn time. Thanks, Quirk. See you there in Discord, buddy. I don't know if you're watching, but appreciate you. Thanks for having my back there. Nothing like real friends, right? Have your back, watch everything go to shit. But anyways, hope you guys are doing good. Like I said, it's been a long damn time since we've been here, so please feel free to jump in the chat, say hi, tell me how it's sounding, how it's looking, that kind of thing. You guys know I'm not beyond y'all's criticism. Hell, y'all's criticism helps make shit better. Oh, Lordy. So, yeah, we are, I had to reinstall OBS, redoing all the scenes from the ground up. So, I'm not really sure how the audio's sounding, the frame rates, that kind of thing. So, yeah. I figure we'll just kind of do this and get it rolling from the get-go and just kind of build it and make it pretty as we go with y'all's help. But anyways, yeah. If we get some people chatting in here, maybe we'll talk about that UP merger. Like that, that should be a wild, fun little ride that's about to go down. Honestly, I don't think that merger is going to happen. Not unless BNSF strikes a deal with CSX. No, don't see it happening one damn bit. But that's just me. Let's see. Top chat, live chat. Man, y'all quiet today. But then again, it's been a while, so we're going to get more of these going. Let's say that much. Oh, yeah. I need to remove that one little setting from that. That would probably be a good idea, because the last thing you want is seeing my mouse fly all over the place on that. What's up, Randall? Long time no see, buddy. How are you? Sweet. We got that figured out. Yep. So let's see. We got that. We got that. What's up, Quirk? What's up, Walt? How are you, dude? Man, I can't even talk today. What the hell's up with that? I don't know. Can I make that font there bigger? That would be amazing. I'm not sure it's going to let me do that. Well, that's boo-boo. And I'm trying to make the chat font over here that I'm screen capturing a little bit better. Words are always hard for me, Quirk. You know this. Yeah, man. Doing good, Randall, actually. Lots of crazy changes. lots of crazy changes. Super busy, dealing with some medical stuff, that kind of thing. I'm actually on medical leave, but we'll leave that one alone right now. But yeah, and thank you. Yeah, that's the I think Squeaky, or yep, Squeaky. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get that damn font bigger. That's gonna annoy the ever loving piss out of me. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out how to make that bigger. The normal way of doing it, here in the chat window or whatever, the controls scroll up, blah blah blah. Yeah, that ain't working for crap. I'll figure that one out later. Oh, your stream's bitrate is 51,758 kilobytes higher than is recommended. Yeah, no. We're just going to roll at that. I don't care. Could piss off YouTube and hit them with like 2 gigs of upload speed, but whatever. Yeah, so biggest thing is market for the houses where I'm at got good, really, really good. And we ditched the giant truck. We ditched the giant camper and got us a house. We got Taylor set up so she can finally use her medical billing and coding certification and education to work from home. Couldn't do that on the Starlink. Actually getting into a smaller home we're actually going to be saving a boatload of money between getting rid of the RV, getting rid of the giant truck. All expenses combined, we're actually going to be saving more money and grossly consolidating a lot of things by doing this. Sounds weird. Economy's kind of weird right now, but full-time and in a fifth wheel is not necessarily a cheap encounter to roll with. But did it for years, guys. A lot of y'all joined us with that. Appreciate you guys on that. And just time for that particular era to come to a close. Let's see here. Let's catch up on chat. Been better. It's been worse too. Well, Javis, we will address that here in a minute. Good deal, Walt. Good deal. Yeah, mine's basically been sleep, PTSD, and stress related. I'll say that. So, Doc is handling things, but treatment plan involves medications, and medications that would not go well for me at the railroad if they weren't correctly done in the first place. So, rest, medication, that kind of thing. We're going to get it worked out. Hopefully, I'm hoping middle of next week, first of next week, we're good to go. Feeling much, much, much better physically and mentally. So yeah, excuse me. Yeah, so that UP merger, that, that's going to be something that is going to be interesting to see. Still a lot of hurdles just because UP and Norfolk Southern may reach an agreement doesn't mean the federal government is going to agree with them. I do think one thing that's going to hinge on them getting the thumbs up for a merger is going to be BNSF and CSX reaching an agreement to merge as well. That is the only way I can see them leveling the playing field between the class ones. Like, they would both have to make something happen. And I'm not quite sure CSX lines up with BNSF's way of thinking and doing things. Just my little hunch. So it will be interesting to see if that happens, because I don't foresee STB and everybody, all the other government agencies involved in giving the thumbs up for something like that. I do not see them allowing one giant railroad to have full west to east coast and vice versa and central U.S. access under one roof without there being a fair playing field for BNSF and CSX to do the same. So, Randall, you're saying that UP and NS merger could end up really screwing us here. BNSF interchanges with Norfolk Southern at Memphis, Tennessee, and a merger between UP and NS could mean we lose our coal traffic. You know, that's a possibility, but I think that's what these agencies are going to be taking into account. And so, it didn't surprise me any at all to see BNSF make a move. Like they went ahead and announced that they hired Goldman Sachs to facilitate analysis and possible negotiations with a railroad. Everybody in the dog knows the first door they're going to knock on is Norfolk Southern, or not Norfolk Southern, is CSX. Well, Randall, you're absolutely right. It could mean that, because they're not going to have to interchange the same way anymore. They're going to have different routing options and things like that. But remember, they also everybody also interchanges. There's a big interchange up there in Chicago as well, and then also down in New Orleans. I would much rather see BNSF and CSX merge than UP and Norfolk Southern. I think the better fit, hands down, is CSX. I think Norfolk Southern is in a bind after East Palestine, and then they, the whole fiasco with their CEO sleeping with one of the lawyers or something like that. But I personally think CSX is the way to go for BNSF. I think it's a better fit. CSX has shown more growth than Norfolk Southern, I believe. I haven't looked at the numbers recently. This was really kind of just a hangout stream. So I haven't done any research on last quarter numbers on growth, projected growth, operating ratios, things like that, of where everybody's at. So I'm not really sure how that's sitting. So it'd be interesting to find out. Absolutely. Which I'm going to dig into those. Yeah, Randall, also felt like Joe Henricks, when he took over CSX, what was told from me from people directly involved with Mr. Henricks and his management team was essentially the shareholders kicked out the old CEO because he threw the wall-eyed baby hissy fit. And essentially what was passed down to me was that the shareholders for CSX got together and said, your mission is this: mend fences with our customers, capture new customers, and push for continual growth, restore our workforce, and then mend fences with our workforce. That was his 4 objectives, essentially. And so that's what he's been doing. and everybody here knows, every CEO, vice president, vice executive, whatever you want to freaking call them, they're going to be beholden to the shareholders. At the end of the day, when you're a publicly traded company, you are going to be at their beck and call. Just the way it is. That's the way the world works. Here we are. So, quite frankly, I think there's too much PSR at Norfolk Southern, but I think Norfolk Southern's mindset lines up with Union Pacific. I think BNSF tries to separate themselves a bit from how UP is doing things, but at the same time, I just think CSX is the better play. I think it's going to be more profitable in the long run. And again, the last numbers I looked at, CSX has shown a lot of growth in their market, capturing new markets in business. And they restored, I believe, their entire workforce past what their pre-COVID numbers were. So that's my opinion, but also, and this is also my opinion, I don't think Mr. Henricks is a fan of any of the CEOs at any of the class ones with what they're doing and how they're treating their employees. I don't think it's his style. I don't know this for a fact, just from what I've read and what I've seen, regarding him and what he's been doing at CSX. I'm just going to go out on a limb and voice my opinion on that. Of course, you're never going to hear another CEO come out and say, oh, screw this CEO, that's just bad business. And it's not professional, but you're playing on a different level when you're the CEO of a class 1 railroad. By the way, this cold brewed coffee, it's a piece of heaven, I'm telling you right now. Well, Randall, what BNSF does is they say they don't PSR. They say they do something called common sense railroading. It's the same damn thing. Just put a spit shine on it and spin it the other way around. Yeah, and Walt, that's what I hear from quite a few people I talk to. Hands down. Let me catch up on chat here real quick. Personal, so you're wanting to know, would they keep the name, or would BNSF and CSXT attempt to create a new name in the merger? Typically, following historical fashion, when one railroad merges with another, they do modify the initials. They do modify the name. How that would look, I don't know, because usually it comes down to a max of like 4 initials. And so I don't know if, because the big merger for BN was Burlington Northern Santa Fe, then you got CSXT. So I'm not really sure how that would go apart, but I would not be surprised if there's some sort of name change associated with it. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Uh-oh. Still trying to get used to everything again. I done lost my chat window. There we go. Well, I think you're right. Like I said, I haven't done a whole lot of research on this, so forgive me if I say something that is inaccurate or anything like that. I just need to get this stream up, give it a test, and see how the layout and the quality is looking for you guys, things like that. By the way, how is the quality coming across for y'all? Is there anything looking blurry? Anything looking like sideways? Anything like that? Like what's that looking like for you guys? Any of the picture or audio sound off, choppy, anything like that? Because I didn't want to get all crazy with trying to set up the stream layouts, the scene layouts, and things like that until I got y'all's opinions on things. Cool. I like it. So, like I said, the merger is not going to happen overnight. There's going to be a lot of, you got to remember also turning around and saying, hey, we're talking about a merger. We're announcing a merger. Public press releases like that can also generate new investors as well, just from the talks of it. And then they go ahead and put out updates. Hey, everything's looking promising. So, all of those are also plays that can drive up stock prices and bring in new investors and new money and things like that. So it's not really surprising that they are announcing this. Well, BNSF, like I said, they weren't going to let UP make a big announcement like that and not, man, I'm having brain farts left and right today, and not make their own move. I mean, who knows how long the merger could take? I mean, they got to do analysis. They got to, look at funds. They got to look at backgrounds. They got to look at markets. They got to do like certain type of impact studies. Like I'll do some more research and get into it, but I mean, it is not a fast process. It's not like, okay, I'm going to buy this house and 30 days later we close and here's your check. They when they come to a resolution, if they say, okay, we want to merge, and then they're going to take it up to the federal government, they can talk and come to an agreement as fast as they want. But then everything has to be essentially handed over to the federal government to be looked at, analyzed, have discussions, probably have hearings on it. I mean, it is a massive process. And one of the biggest things that they're going to be discussing is, would this merger potentially and harmfully impact, the competitive market? And so that's why I'm saying my big thing is if they want this to happen, I think BNSF is going to move fairly quickly to try to strike a deal with another railroad that gives them full east-west coast access across the country on their Transcon. Basically extending our Transcon from, LA to Chicago. It could now potentially be LA to Chicago, Chicago to Jacksonville, Florida, as an example. It could potentially open up a BNSF Transcon from the West Coast all the way through New Orleans, all the way over to Florida and the East Coast. There's a lot of different avenues there. So, when you start talking about monopoly, that's going to be a big hurdle. So that's why I would not be surprised that if UP and Norfolk Southern reach an agreement, not too far behind that would be BNSF and, let's say, CSX. And then that way they both can go to the government and be like, look, we both have agreements in place for a merger and acquisitions. This really isn't going to hurt anyone. I think the play they're going to make is, if anything, this is going to make the market and competition in the market even more viable, because now we've consolidated everything. Everybody wins. That's the play I think they're going to take. That's me personally. So, with that said, we'll see what happens. We're going to end up talking about this quite a bit. I know the last couple of videos I did were kind of depressing a little bit. You know, it's been a weird year. It's definitely brought its own unique challenges, not just at work, but home, personally, that kind of thing. So, I mean, nothing bad. It just is what it is. Life's life. Shit happens. Got to roll with it. Yeah, I remember. I remember that too. UP and Metro were not at all happy with that merger. So, and I do believe the mergers would have. I'm not sure if mergers have to be available for public comment, like with the STB and things like that. I'm not sure if that's required. That'd be something to look into. So, should be fun. So, guys, so here's my idea. Like I said, this was just going to be a little bit of a short stream, but I want to do more of these, but just remember these streams are always going to be very chaotic in time. You know, it literally might be I stream at 3 a.m. Maybe I'm streaming at 1 p.m. When I come off medical, it's going to be very, very hard to schedule a set time every week to do that. And so this one right here, I want to do two. And one is this one right here, the games, trains, and coffee. And this is more, we'll pick one topic we'll talk about, but we'll also talk about some games and some other things, maybe do some game streaming, things like that. And then the other ones I wanted to bring back, what we were doing a while back, was the Between the Rails. And actually, we'll pick one topic, and that's all we're going to talk about for about an hour. Pros, cons, things like that. Y'all tell me what y'all are kind of liking, because the games, trains, and coffee, I really like to do. You know, I could really kind of do that a couple of times a week, anywhere. You know, just about any time. Because a lot of y'all mofos don't sleep. Ever. And I know that feeling. It's part of my problem right now. The other thing is on the Between the Rails, you know, since that's going to be an actual kind of podcast, I wanted to, for one, y'all's involvement in feedback and interaction really made the Between the Rails stuff I was trying to learn to get set up and do and things like that. You guys are the ones that actually made that happen. And, because of y'all's interaction. So I always want to make sure that, especially on that one, that we're going to be at a good time for a lot of y'all to be involved in that. So I'm kind of wondering what y'all are thinking. Would y'all want me to try to shoot for the Between the Rails once a week, either in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening? I mean, we could potentially do it late because, I mean, basically what it'd be is I already kind of have the topic set up. I've done the research, websites and things like that, articles already set up. But essentially it's going to be me come in from work, fire up the stream for an hour, and then I get the hell off, eat, and go to bed. So if you guys are down with that, leave in the comments down below what y'all are kind of thinking on that. And yeah, well, I'll kind of try to set up a semi schedule around all that. See how that flies. So did the chat just straight up die on us, or interesting? Well, the stream and analytics look good. Oh, North Valley, that's fair. No, it really could. I mean, this whole topic, get back here. This whole topic of merger and everything, it's going to be I don't really want to say volatile, but I think it's going to be insanely dynamic. Like, I think there's if this thing gets off the ground, I think this is a million different ways that it could go. And so it's really, I mean, there's going to be a lot of speculation, a lot of people's opinions on things. And I don't want to say they're wrong, but they may not be right either. Like, it's going to be interesting to see how this transpires, because the mergers are really going to be the talk of the town. And, who knows how that's going to go? Who knows how that's going to go? Who's going to end up being CEO? Who's going to get a termination package? Kind of things like that. Ken Rose, thank you for the donation there, my friend. Much appreciated, sir. Thank you for joining in. And so, appreciate the thumbs up there too, buddy. Appreciate it. Thank you. So who knows what it's going to look like? Still, Rail fan, there is absolutely no way that the merger could be agreed upon, analyzed, heard about, and decided on by the government entities that have to be involved in this in a week. It is absolutely impossible. There's absolutely no way. What they could do, what could happen per se this week, is Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern, basically what they say is they have a tentative agreement to a merger / acquisition. So and that's what has to happen first. So they have to agree to terms, money, who's going where, things like that. And then they have to provide that to said government entities. Okay. So they have to have everything prepared, much like union contract negotiations. When we reach a tentative agreement, then it comes to the membership, we vote on it. It's very similar with them. There's a lot of information they have to have figured out. And then they get together, the lawyers do their thing, and then they punt it off to the government. Exactly, Walt. They can agree in principle. But the actual merger happening, nothing's going to be finalized and move that direction till later. Much, much later. Man, who is blowing up my phone? I don't know who that is. Let me mute my mic first. Oh, that's a deputy buddy of mine. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to call him back here in a minute. But anyways, yeah, guys, do me a favor. Jump in the Discord down there. If you're not already in there, I think I can do this. Ooh, I'm going to have to adjust that. I can't type. Whoop. Get over here. Let's see here. Let's see if Nightbot's working or if I'm going to have to redo him too. And it looks like Nightbot is on hiatus, so I get to go fix him too. That's awesome. Okay. Anyways, jump in the Discord. The link should be here in the description. But throw out your ideas, conversation topics, things like that. Any ideas about layout on the stream, things you want to see, things like that, times. Just start throwing stuff out there. And I'm going to keep working on this, and we'll try to do this a couple of other times. But I think for right now, I think we should be seeing some information coming up. More announcements from UP or maybe Norfolk Southern, things like that, because they're going to be making these to try to attract investors ahead of time for this. It's just part of the game. So, we'll see how it goes, but we'll talk about this, and I will get some information together and do a little bit of research and see if we can't kind of start building our brain up on this and see if we can't start doing our own analysis on things. And like I said, there's so much going on with this and so much stuff behind closed doors. It's going to be unreal, but I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it'll be a good time for us to sit down and hang out and chat and get back into the swing of things. Like I said, I want to do a couple of these a week. The Between the Rails, on set topics where we're going to have those hard conversations. In topics might make people mad, might make people happy. Who the hell knows? But we'll sit down and do those on Between the Rails, which I really want to bring those back because those were a lot of fun. So we're going to do that, but I'm going to call this good. And I appreciate y'all's help. It was really good to see a lot of you guys again. It has been way too long since we sat down and talked and hung out. And I miss you guys. You guys are the reason this channel, while I've kind of been on this hiatus, has kept growing. Appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. But we're going to start kicking things off now that things are getting settled. Like I said, about to come off medical leave, I hope. Tell somebody with ADHD to sit still and rest. Thank God for medication, because that's usually not two words or multiple, phrases that go hand in hand. I am literally going out of my mind. I want to go back to work. I miss work. But anyways, you guys have a good one. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thanks for showing up and hanging out. Like I said, we're going to get these going again. Look forward to it. Y'all have a good time. Be safe out there. Here we go.